Welcome everyone, and Happy New Year. Happy New Year. This is the very first episode, live show of the brand new year, 2023. We are here, and we're also kicking off a brand new series. And so, what I'd love for you all to do, if you're tuning in for the very first time, or if you are, um, happen to see this by replay as well, be sure to leave a comment throughout the live stream. Say hello, where you're from. And I'd love to know, even because I read the comments afterwards as well. Tell me absolutely what you are working on this particular month. We'll just start with just this month. You can definitely tell me quarterly goals if you want to, but I'm a big believer in setting your own pace for how you want to go about doing these things, right? It's called goal setting, initiatives, all the things. Brother of color. All right, coming in the building. Jose is here as well. And welcome. We are on LinkedIn, we are on YouTube, and we are just via Instagram as well. But those of you that want to, interact via YouTube or LinkedIn, you guys have the option of having the comments. Instagram, you got to go to the link in the bio and, you know, do your thing. Do your thing. We have a brand new series that we are embarking upon, and we'll talk about that just in a minute. But I'd love to know, what are you most looking forward to? This particular year. What are you looking forward to? Love to hear that. Whether it's family, whether it is, things in business, career, self-care, whatever branches or whatever themes or topics that you all are thinking over and coming up with. I know many folks have things lined up day one, like when the clock strikes, they are on it. But we also know too that during this season of newness and new activities, that you can do things your own way, right? We've seen that since we've been in this posture since March 2020, and definitely the new way of working and living and interacting and socializing. So many of you all are doing things in new and different ways. And so this is a time. This is a time for you to embrace your particular path. We have self-care and mental wellness. Okay, because if you don't have that, that's one of the core pillars. If you want to really go out there and make your mark, one of the first aspects of that, yeah, is one of the building blocks, self-care and mental wellness. You have to do it. You have to do it. So that's really exciting to see and hear you all really start to think about what matters most, and so what we're going to be doing is a little bit similar. Well, I guess it's like a branch of the self-care, and some of the foundational components. We'll just say that this particular theme really shares that sentiment of new beginnings. So what we're doing this whole entire month is it's on project activation. Many of us are starting new things. We often jump into things that we want to work on, new program, coaching program, service, podcast, client projects. What else is there out there? New hobbies, whatever that you want to look at that. But we're really looking at this from the perspective of, from the entrepreneurship perspective, from the team member perspective, from the organization perspective. We're going to start really looking at projects and really why you're doing what you're doing. Project activation. That's what this whole month is going to be about. Project activation. Why are you doing the things that you're doing? And when you have an idea, what are some of the best practices that you should be putting in place when it comes to the new projects that you're working on? Now, by definition, if you haven't been here before, or if you need a little refresher about what exactly is a project in terms of the exact definition. And I always want to be exact to the exact with this. So when we're looking at, the definition of a project, we look at that from the perspective of a project. This is the thing. folks, when we're looking at it. And many people think that, we're talking about technology, or we're talking about, like, something that's very far-fetched, right? When we talk about the definition of a project, we're talking about the temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. So a project is always temporary in nature. Okay. Now, can you have ongoing projects? Absolutely. Uh, there's plenty of them. And we're going to be talking a lot this year, a lot this quarter, about how some things have influenced the way that we are going about executing these projects in the digital era. And so there's some things that I want to list out in terms of what exactly is a project. So I listed some. So this is your coaching program. This is your T-shirt, or your, what is it? T-shirt, sweatshirt, hoodies. What else is a project? An NFT is a project. A virtual event is a project. A in-person event is a project. A podcast is a project. In fact, those that have weekly podcasts, that's an ongoing project. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Again, we are living in a day and age where, when the definition was written, there's very much a emphasis on starting and stopping. Okay. So when you see your favorite podcaster episodes come out, that's a project, right? Because there's a sequence of tasks that take place from start to finish that produce what? A unique service, product, or result. Releasing weight is a project in itself. Again, could be ongoing. All right. What else is there a project? Someone that is inventing something, inventing a new, like a patent. A project can actually be also too, if you are looking to apply for a trademark, that is a project as well. So in different industries, it's going to look different. It's absolutely going to look different. So project activation is really going to look at, from, if you are the creator, the visionary, whether you're a solopreneur or have a team, it's going to look at this from the perspective of, okay, so I have this idea, or I've been working on this project. Do I actually have the fundamental best practices, the tools, the techniques to actually work on this and launch this thing to success? And we're going to break that down. And so tonight, the topic for tonight is really, why should I start? Okay, why should I start? Some of you maybe have already started, and you might be thinking, okay, well, this isn't going to be for me. No, if you have already started, yeah, tune in, and get some pointers, because this is really going to be, I guess you could say, it could be a wake up call. It could be a wake up call. And I'll give you an indication and a clue that our motivations are one of the key factors into why we are creating. Okay, why we are creating projects, why are we embarking upon a new coaching program, a new service, a new whatever it is, insert whatever that project is. And so we're going to peel the curtain and behind the layers, because we're going to ask these critical questions. We're going to start getting into, what are these factors that really justify us outside of, I just want to do it? Which, again, this is not to say you should not be doing this particular project or projects that you selected. Okay, I'm not here to stop you. I am here to really help to course correct and to really bring into focus, what does it mean to actually activate a project and activate it well, so that you can have the right foundations to start with success. So this is just the first part of this series. Uh, Next month, we're going to talk about the mean green. Okay, if you may get a Starbucks card if you can identify that song that comes with the mean green. Okay, so we're going to talk about the mean green. We're talking about the money, and we're talking about the money and projects, and so that's going to be exciting. And then March, we're definitely going to be talking about people. We're going to talk about the people factor. So very exciting. This is a Project Essentials series, and then the first session of this is project activation. So as we have this laid out, journey with me, walk with me, you'll learn a lot, and this will be instrumental. And I also should lay this out. I wanted to lay this out because perhaps some people out there may be thinking, this does not apply to me. Some people may be saying that. Hey, this doesn't apply to me. Well, there's going to be lots of examples from a couple different perspectives. One, from the project visionary, the CEO, the person that has all the ideas. We're going to be looking at things from that perspective. And then we're also going to be taking the lens from the actual person who's the implementer, the project manager, the one who is going to quote unquote take the football and run it to the end zone, the quarterback. I don't know why. The past few weeks I've been in football references. Okay. So we'll try to diversify the sports analogies so that we can ensure that people understand, right? So those of you that are the quarterbacks of your team, and that again doesn't mean that you have the title of project manager, right? You could be a community manager, you could be a program manager, you could be a product manager, you could be a social media manager of sorts, or a strategist, or what's another, an online business manager. Okay, you could be a director. Okay, because the PM space, it's kind of like a river. It kind of can go into many different directions. So also too, new segments as well. Well, I would say just upgraded segments as well. So we're going to have an in the lab with me. Many of you are very familiar with the in the lab sessions with a guest. We will still have many guests. In fact, I will have a post that will ask a kind of a call to action to individuals that want to talk openly about the projects they are building, and really some of the ups as well as some of the downs and some of the things in between. And we can really sort of mastermind together. So I think that will be really fun and exciting. And also do a live, what do you call, a retrospective, a live lessons learned. I think that will be instrumental after a project has been completed, your coaching program, the launch of your latest product. We're going to do a lessons learned, and it's going to be live. So I'll do a post. I'll see who's interested, talk with some people, see if they're the right fit and all that good stuff. And then we'll schedule these out, because this, my friends, will be really insightful and really help a lot of people. We have to start talking about the everyday work, which is what this live show is all about, and talking about the ups, the downs, and the things that we're just working through and learning. Okay. And so we'll have the in the lab, and that is where I will be talking about productivity trends. I also will be going over our monthly case study. And so the monthly case study that we're going to be having today, and really all throughout the month of January, is all on team productivity and communication. So it's all about, how do we as a team, since it's 2023, how do we best work and communicate together? If you were here in, okay, what is it, October and November? Yeah, October and November, we had a work management series. And we also talked a lot about what is work management and all of that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take a particular case study, and we're going to go into some of these steps that I've identified, things that I have implemented, and we are going to talk through, how do we actually build out some best practices and things when it comes to the team productivity and communication. So first and foremost, we're going to go in the lab, then we're going to talk about project activation, and then we're going to go into, like, what's next, right? What's next? Like, how are you going to apply these things as well? Erica, great to see you. Jason Mitchell, what's happening? Tramel, good to see you as well. So, in the lab, let's actually go to as well. Let me share my screen. We love this. We got the Miro presentation, powered by Miro, a great online, and we will have this. I'm going to take my overlay off. There we go. And let's move through the first one. So, as we just said, what's on the agenda? It's the in the lab, and we're going to start that first, and then we're going to talk about why are you doing this? Why have you taken on this project? Why have you decided to launch this coaching program, this new service that you are going to be launching in Q1 or in January or in Q2, whenever you are going to this membership group? Why? What's the reason? And then what's next? And we're going to have an exercise as well. I'd love for you also as well. Let me make sure to put this on the banner. Those of you that want to join the live stream community that I have, Systems Lab Live, hashtag live to 626-722-5444. Get updates for when I go live. They'll, other types of updates as well. Some people have asked me for articles and things that I've shared, and it'll be more easier if I'm able to send it out via text as well. All right, let's go. In the lab, so the first thing I do want to talk about is Philly's hot. What do we mean by that? Philly is hot. An aspect of in the lab is that we're going to be looking at productivity trends, what's going on in the Black tech ecosystem, and of course the case study that I just talked about and referenced. So what I mean by Philly's hot is that over the past few months, Philly has been one of the epicenters of the Black tech ecosystem in space. And so I'm going to open up my notes on this because I want to talk first and foremost about um, some of the things that Philadelphia is doing. Okay, and what I love about this is that Philadelphia's Operations Transformation Fund is a $10 million grant to support city initiatives with a focus on innovative programs. Okay. Philly's Operations Transformation Funds. Yes. So there's a $10 million grant. So um, what's cool about this is that this is a government-wide initiative, okay, which has the opportunity to really have entrepreneurs from all over Philly really look at, all right, hey, we got this grant. And if you are an entrepreneur, if you're a small business owner, a company, this is the opportunity where you can get funding. And so the purpose of this is to support transformative projects in city government, provide efficient and equitable services to Philadelphia residents. It's $10 million that it will distribute over 2 fiscal years. It's FY22 and 23. So this is active. This is current. This is right now. And so they have the fund itself was opened during 2 of the funding cycles, fall 2021 and spring 2022. Departments submitted their ideas and applied for funding through the OTF and a board and advisory committee by the Office of the Chief Administrative Officer, the CAO, reviewed these projects. So, one thing that we should take away from this is that in your city, especially when it comes to the issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion, many state entities, funds, uh, all of these like venture capital organizations, they are literally giving away a lot of money. And I think that is really, really important for us to underscore and pay attention to, right? And I want to bring up one more aspect to this, but that's one of the first takeaways that you all should kind of pay attention to, even if you're not interested in necessarily applying, or this is just sort of just new to you as well. Start thinking about what does this actually mean for me? So I love this Sherelle Dorsey, who's a pioneer in the space. She has a publication, a company called The Plug. They do a lot of data and research, and she brought up this article too. Is Philly investing enough? One of her team members wrote this article. Is Philly investing enough in the Black tech ecosystem? In 2021, 2,710 tech talent jobs were added in Philadelphia, but Black professionals are still having a hard time landing jobs in the city. Tech workers in Philadelphia earn 86% of what their San Francisco counterparts earn, but the cost of living is 45% lower in Philadelphia. The highest concentration of Philadelphia's tech workforce resides in the surrounding suburbs. Overworked, underpaid, underappreciated. Those are the common sentiments from the Great Resignation last year. Philadelphia is ranked 22 amongst the cities in the United States and Canada with the most tech talent, with an increase of 2,710 tech talent jobs in 21. So, and here's where you have the yin and the yang of it, right? The A and the B, the other side of the coin. So you see that when it comes to Black tech ecosystem, whether you're on the entrepreneurship side, whether you are a tech talent, um, there's a couple of things going on. You see that we have this fund, the Operations Transformation Fund, investing in internal projects to transform operations and help the city of Philadelphia better serve its communities. So you have this, okay, aspect of it. $10 million. I'm thinking with the 10 million, some way, some shape, or some way, somehow, that's a verbiage, that there should be a way in which Black entrepreneurs and organizations should be beneficiaries of this transformation fund or funds like these. Okay. And so, a couple of things too to note about this is that, number one, saying earlier, we should be looking at inside of our communities, our local governments, or state governments, and we should be looking at what are these funding opportunities that we have. Okay. Number two, on the flip side, as a plug has reported, is Philadelphia investing enough? Okay. So the as black tech professionals are saying, exploring past the city limits at which point was absolutely necessary. I don't really think I have much of a choice. So this is from someone who is a software engineer at a Brooklyn based chain machine working remotely. So resident of Philly, okay, and has to look beyond the city, has to look beyond the city to look for a job. So Philadelphia is always going to produce people with 4-year degrees because of all the universities in the area. But what about the people like me who couldn't afford it? Again, a really good point. How do we get into tech? It really hurts the talent pool. Diversity isn't just race, it's also down to someone's background. Uh, Now, the president of the Philly chapter of Blacks in Technology said the companies that create partnerships with tech boot camps are on the right track to increase diversity in tech and help people navigate into other careers. So, lots to take away, um, lots to think about when it comes to what you're thinking about for your company, for your organization. If you're in a position as a company to partner with a boot camp to think about ways that maybe you want to expand in terms of diversity, equity, inclusion, and maybe you want to start to dive into partnerships that's going to broaden the talent pool, this is something to start to think about. So take away this piece and make a note of it as we start making our way into 2023. All right. Um, let's see let me go here into the okay, perfect. All right, so we're going to get into tonight's case study for the next few minutes, and then we will dive into why did you start that project, right? Why did you start that project? Why is this important that we're talking about the teen productivity piece? Why? Because over the past year and a half, 2 years, there's been the urge and the emphasis on returning back to work. Now, if you are an entrepreneur and you've already been remote, then that doesn't affect you. But productivity is not necessarily compartmentalized into one particular scenario. It affects everyone in every way, shape, or form. So there's two perspectives that I want to talk about today. Um, the theme of how we're going to work in terms of our processes, in terms of our communication. This is a cross cultural, cross industry topic that's a hot topic no matter where you go. So you're a small business owner and you had to drastically switch to all remote. You might have been in an organization that had telework sometimes, but now you're fully remote, and maybe the company is taking the approach of, hey, nobody's going to return back to the office. So now we have to think of what is the best way that we can be productive, and that we can get the work done. But also too, there's always a factor, and I talked about this a couple of months ago about, you know, people's lives have changed since March 2020. People are building their lives around what they want to see, and it's not going to, the center of that is not going to be um, work, whether you're an entrepreneur or whether you are have a career job or a career position. People are putting family at the center, their happiness, their mental well-being. People are putting themselves, their family at the forefront. Folks want to take vacation more. They want to go and work in different places and experience life. And so that has disrupted what we think about work and the initiatives and the projects and the goals of organizations and companies, even your own. You're probably challenged, especially if you are hiring. What does your work culture look like? Even if you are remote, you still have to think about that. What are these best ways and best practices in which you are working? Those of you that are a part of volunteer organizations, or you work in churches or in ministries or in nonprofit organizations, this still applies. This still applies because always, number one, the work has to get done. This is always going to be the case. The work has to get done. So it's all about the way in which it's going to get done. What's the strategy? What's the approach? How will we communicate? Where are we storing information? Over the next few weeks, over this month, we're going to dissect all of that. Okay. So the way in which we work and communicate then versus now, we would pick up the phone, right? Oh, no, this is how it worked. We would send an email, typically send an email asking a question to somebody. 5 minutes later, not even 5 minutes later, that person did not answer via email. And we see that little dot on their little IM or instant messenger. They must be in. So we're going to call them to see if they saw the email. Okay. That's how we communicated. Or we would go physically with a notebook to a meeting, to a conference room, and walk our happy hips there and go say hi to somebody and be late to meetings and all of those different types of things. And we would ask for status updates. We would actually go and enter into meetings and say, hey, did you get my email? We wouldn't even say hi to people. We would say, hey, what's going on? Did you get that email? Did you see that email? Why? Because the focal point of what we did is we were doing a lot of siloed work. We were responsible for something, and a collaboration wasn't necessarily always a high priority. Now it's a must. Collaboration is a must. It's at the top. It's your team's superpower. Collaboration is. So we went from picking up the phone, sending messages, hey, did you get this? Going to people's offices, closing the door, right? Remember those days we used to close the door behind, and then people would be looking around the corner talking about, oh, I wonder what they're talking about. All of that went away. And now we are in the throes of virtual communication, remotely working from home. And here's the interesting part about all of this is that there were companies that were already doing this. There were companies that are already working remotely. And now here's the thing. I'd love to even hear from those companies that were already doing it. What best practices did you already have in place, and what did you have to amplify, especially when we had the pandorama going on? What did you have to amplify when we entered into this particular phase in our country, right? So we've talked about then versus now, as you see on the screen, then versus now. Why are people getting stuck? So here's the why are people getting stuck? The sticking point is we want to return back to what everything once was, right? It's the before effect. We just need to get back to normal. And so we're having this tension, this push and this pull of, all right, well, this is great. This is going to be temporary. And as we are embarking upon year 3, this is pretty permanent, I think. I think, and many people last year have gone into more hybrid. They've gone into the approach of people can choose their own schedule because they recognize that people's lives are absolutely different. So now when we're coming from the perspective of I'm fully remote or I'm hybrid, now let's look at what do we do to become more effective in the work that we're doing. Some people are looking to uh, do things more quicker, more faster, more efficient. Many people last year said I was in too many meetings, and so I didn't have a chance to really catch my breath. Some people are scaling back in terms of team members, and they're realizing I got too many people walking around. And did it really make sense? Because I had to pivot my attention to managing people, but also as a leader, I had to start to look at, all right, well, where's my time being spent? So there's a lot of things that became very clear to people. There are those that as if you are someone that joined a team, you're not necessarily like the leader of the team, but you joined a team. You might have seen some things where you had to get to know people that you didn't know. So how do you get to know people that you don't really know that well? What are people's communication styles? You had to learn new systems, and you had to put together things for the very first time. So a lot of that is, and you're trying to understand the company goals and things. So there's a lot in terms of the then versus now, and then why people are getting stuck. Okay. And so what I would like to do in terms of presenting in terms of each Monday, we're going to be diving into these different aspects of team productivity. Is we're going to look at what does it look like to be more collaborative, B, have your superpower, your individual superpower shine and really help the team. And then 2, what does it look like to move into a more async working style? Okay. We will look at that. We will absolutely look at all of those things. Okay. Excellent. What's going on, Winifred? Revamping team productivity. So we're going to look at some things over the next few weeks, determining what to communicate about. That's really a thing. And many people have said, well, Ashley, it's we know what to communicate about. We need to communicate about the projects and the work that we're doing. Well, sure. But there's always something to be said about what you're communicating, who you're communicating to, and then also your style of communication. Number 2, creating the workflow. What does that workflow look like? What does your actual workflow look like? All right. What does it mean to start your day and know what you need to work on, the status of projects, having async team meetings, knowing when to call a meeting, uh, documenting the process. Going to be instrumental because it's not just you. Remember, we're in a highly collaborative environment. That doesn't mean that you're collaborating every minute or every hour, but you are collaborating nonetheless. And so there'll be people that you are going to onboard. There's also going to be the shift, especially if you're leading the charge of the person that is going to implement a new process or revamp the new working process. You're going to absolutely need to document what you're doing, why you're doing it, and then what are the pieces for everyone to get on board. And then selecting the tech. We're going to talk about tech. We're going to talk about Slack. We're going to do a demo of Slack, which I love. And there's a brand new badge. I cannot wait to obtain it. It only takes like 1 to 2 hours to do. And Slack has a new badge called Digital HQ, which I'm very excited about. I'm going to grab that badge this month because I love me some Slack, and just really how it's just really how you can use it to help communicate. There are other tools. Do not worry. We will talk about the other tools out there that you can still have effective communication, folks. Okay. And so revamping team productivity. So that's what we are talking about. Now, reasons to start a project. And this is going to be really good to think about. Okay. Project activation. You have, as a visionary, you have a new idea. CEO has a great idea. Reasons to start a project. So we're going to go from two perspectives because I want to make sure that those that are those individuals understand, right, what we're looking at. So from a project visionary perspective, I want to submit to you, and I'm going to, okay, let me go back. I'm going to pull up my notes. Hold on. Let's pull up these notes here. So, okay, perfect. So, reasons that we start projects. As the visionary, there is a strategic opportunity and a business need. Boom. There's a change in business needs to improve or fix processes, products, or services. There's a customer or community need. There's a technology advancement. There are new regulations. There's a legal requirement. Lastly, because I want to, and we'll address the because I want to. But let's start looking at some of these reasons, y'all. I'm just going to bring us into focus just a little bit. Reasons to start a project. As a project visionary, you probably have woken up and said to yourself, man, I think I need to have this new coaching program, or I need to have this new service. Boom. Many times we're told by those that are upon the internet, our our thought leaders, right, in the entrepreneurship space, they'll say, go and find out if your community, your followers, your customers, find out, if there is a need. And that's what we have here. We have a business need, okay? Or there's a customer or community need. And sometimes they can be integrated to be both. I realize I merge both, and I want to acknowledge that. There could be a strategic opportunity where you might see a partnership with someone. That's probably a really good example to use. You see an opportunity to partner with someone. Oh, right? I love when I see it. I love when I see workshops with people. They decided to merge a business or a service because they're like, you know what, I'm doing the same thing, you're doing the same thing, or you have the arm that could really amplify this service. We should join forces like the Avengers. Okay. Hey, shout out to me. I have just, well, wait a minute. I don't think I'm finished yet, but I'm almost finished with phase one of MCU. I think I'm almost at the end of Marvel. Could be wrong. I gotta go check my where I left off. But I'm catching on to the wave, folks. I'm catching on. You could join forces with somebody like who's your Thor? All right, who's your Captain Captain America? Ooh, make sure I got that right. Yeah, I think I got that right. The first Avenger. Who is your Iron Man? Questions we should be asking ourselves. Who is our Bruce Banner / Hulk? Okay. Who is our is the young lady Pepper Potts? Who do we have on? Who do we have even on our team? Do we got a Pepper Potts on our team? Okay, you know what I'm saying. So, uh, strategic opportunity. There's a business need. There's a change. Chain. As the legendary Aretha Franklin would say. Oh no, chain, not change. Okay, error correction. I acknowledge. Change in business needs. Or I could Otis Redding it. A change is going to come. Okay. Sometimes it's good to have musical references with your examples. It's helpful. As Otis Redding would say, a change is going to come. And sometimes a change may come in terms of business needs. There's a change. Oh, there's a direction. There's a new direction that you're going in your business. So now you need to create a project, a new service, a new program. There's something new. All right, to improve or fix processes, products, or services. That's a reason. Man, I just saw an email today. Who is it by? Steph Wharton. We're going to bring this up. Steph Wharton. Steph Wharton. She said wait a minute, did she say this today? She says, for the last month or so, I've been working hard behind the scenes to create more like a recreate / bring back with some enhancements, my biggest and best offer of the year. It's time to let the cat out of the bag. So you see this right here. She said it right here. To create more like recreate and bring back with some enhancements. So to improve or fix processes, products, or services. This is your Otis Redding, people. A change is going to come to your program, to your product, to your service. A change is going to come and you can do it. So that's a reason to start a project. If you're just tuning in for this portion, we are talking about reasons to start a project. We're getting down and dirty. You're getting bare bones with why we start the things that we start. Because sometimes we get the gas and we get the excitement and we don't have the foundational components in place. And so we're going to talk about next week. How do you actually vet a good project idea? Ooh, you better stay. You better get with it for next week because we're going to talk about vetting your project idea. We're talking about vetting the project idea, which is going to be just super exciting. But here are the reasons. A customer or community need. So here. Let's talk about the number one thing that we saw within the past 18 months. What did we see? Type it in the chat. What did we see over the past 18 months that people just they just advocated for that thing? You all know it. You know what it is. What is the one thing? And you participated in it last year. What was it? Who wants to guess? I'm going to tell you. Community. And different ways, online community, and also bringing back more virtual and also in-person events. We saw the rise in in-person events last year, and we're going to see more in 2023. Why? Because there is a customer / community need, right? We're seeing the rise in, hey, I'm having a live event. Tap. Live event loading. Community loading. Okay, so we're seeing it. People are launching communities left and right, front and back, side to side. That's probably maybe not the particular song that I'm looking for, but community and customer need. Who's launching a community? That's a project, folks. You understand? Y'all feeling me on this? Customer and community need. They needed the community. They've been asking you. They've been asking you. We need it. Communities in different shapes and forms. Podcasting, number one. That's a whole thing. Patreon. What else is out there? Discord. What is there other platforms? Circle, maybe? I love this now, the newest trend and the newest way that in terms of if you're looking to really follow the education, I want, what's the right wording? Digital education space, which includes courses and things and workshops. Easy way to form a community. We've seen it's not just the courses anymore. Buying the course and boom, I got it. I bought it. I went through the course, or maybe I didn't. Now it is course and community. Shout out to August Bradley. Let me pull up that email. Where are we at with that? Oh, here we go. August Bradley, one of the Notion pioneers in the space. Okay, he has a program, Notion Life Design Masterclass and Membership. This isn't some like one day thing, right? He has a whole thing on masterclass and membership with pillars, pipelines, and vaults. Okay, design an optimal life for yourself. Oh, you know what I can do? I love it. Ain't nothing like having an iPad, because if you have it and you have the Mac, it'll the little icon and then the browser will just pop up on here. Let me share this tab right here. This is it, folks. Okay? This is a project in itself. Designing the Notion Life Design Masterclass and Membership. Okay? He said this is the last call, folks. This is the last call. So he has it all right here. Okay? This is the wave, y'all. 12-month masterclass and membership. This is a project. This is a project with opportunities for enhancements. Oh, I love this. Look at this. The NLD training team. This previous version of the program had mentors leading sessions with members in areas they found challenging. These mentors turn out to be superstars, truly exceptional, right? 5 of them are now hired on board, joining August and Jane to form the NLD All-Star Training Team. Beautiful. Looky here. They're going to be talking about what I like to talk about. Task and project management. I love it because there's just so many intersections with this. So my point is, in talking about this, is the fact is, share screen. The fact remains is that your community, right? He had a community, and he had a product, right? And he, like I said, early Notion pioneer. Same thing with where's one of my faves, man. She's always on the scene. Where's she at? Hold on. Let me bring her up too. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Same thing. Who got a member community too? Is Lord. Oh, here we go. It is Frances O'Dara Matthews, founder of the Happiness Bar and the Notion Bar. She got a lot of things on the horizon. She got a course and a community as well. She is, she's doing her thing. So my point is that reasons to start a project, lots of things lie in the customer and community need. Okay, technology advancement. Okay, this is really good too, because there could be a reason. Um you could see a and I'm just looking something up really quickly. When you think about technology advancement, you're going to want to pay attention to the market, pay attention to what's happening in your space, and you're going to want to make sure you're not behind too much. Okay. And so when we talk about technology advancements, there could be something in your space that's going to require you to level up. Make sense? Um, if you are in the event planning industry and you did all what's the right word? All in-person events, and now you had to shift to virtual because the advancement of technology. Now Zoom is being used, right? I mean, people will talk about all the time. I'm zoomed out, right? You had Hop-In, you still have Hop-In. What else? What else is one of my favorite? AirMeet. AirMeet, yes, AirMeet. Uh, what's the platform that Debsado uses? Forgot about it. But there's so many technologies. And so now you are forced to say, I got to level up. I got to level up to improve my internal processes. I'm an event planner, and now I need to level up on the actual marketing and the actual event planning technology that's out there. New regulations. New regulations. There may be a legal requirement that will actually prompt you to say, oh, we have to make an improvement. Okay, that could be HR related. Hiring, onboarding. You might need to make a particular shift. What's going on, Clinton? Lastly, because I want to. Now, I do want to go back to the new regulations and legal requirement. So last Thursday, we talked about social media, policy, technology, legislation. And so we're going to see more legislation, more regulation and proposed regulations on our favorite platforms, Instagram, TikTok, all these things. So there may be some legal aspects to this. I don't know if it'll happen this year, may happen next year, may not. It depends. But those of you all that, that's your primary bread and butter, right? As a content creator, you'll have to pay attention certainly to these platforms. Okay. And so when we talk about the legal requirements, there may be some legal requirements that you may have to shift. We'll see. But as I said last week, we're going to continue to monitor the situation. And I'll be talking about it here most certainly on Systems Lab Live because I want to. Oh, let me go back. Your lawyer could actually come back and say, hey, I found something in your business, HR related, finance related, those types of things. And you're going to have to revamp a process. And okay, because I want to is last. And I've been switching back and forth because I want to make sure that I kind of get some of these other ones, these points right. And please leave a comment and let me know if there's something I need to explain even further. Because I want to is also a reason. But I love it because I want to, we get into a little deeper next week on vetting your project idea. Because there's sometimes, and the reason why I made that face, because sometimes because I want to isn't always the best initial starting point. You can have all the because I want to's all you want because I want to start it. But there's some foundational pieces to this where you need to solidify the because I want to in terms of starting a project, right? Okay, we've gone through a lot, folks. Let me know as you're watching the replay, and you're seeing some things. What's resonating with you? What's not? How to know you're starting off a project right? We're going to continue to build upon this idea. But number one, I want you to identify the purpose of the project. What's the purpose? Identify the outcomes. What in particular are you looking to achieve? And then lastly, what's the value of it? We're talking ROI, baby. Money and non-monetary. What's that ROI look like? Let me zoom in a tad so you guys can see this. Ooh. These are the three pieces. Thoughts. Thoughts. What kind of thoughts do you all have on this? What kind of thoughts? This is good stuff, y'all. This is good stuff. So as you all are thinking, as you all guys are thinking through, thank you all so much for tuning in to the January 2nd edition, first live stream of the year, project activation series. And we're going to be exploring, what does it mean to actually activate a project? Why are we starting our projects? And how can we make sure that we have the right footing so that we can become successful? This is going to be a great month. I'm very excited about it. Join the Systems Lab Live crew. Text live to 626-722-5444. Also, inside of the show notes, inside of the space for the caption, you will see some resources that I use. You also see an opportunity to work with me. You want to grab a session with me. If you want to sit down and really start masterminding, what is it in terms of what you're doing and what are the components, and kind of get into the weeds. I'm here for all of that. Thank you so much for your time today. And share this live stream with about 2 to 3 people that you know that are starting projects, because they're going to need this information. Cool? I love it. See you guys soon. See you next Monday.